All right, so I think in the last video we talked about, we just talked about the creation of Bitcoin, how it started, what caused it, and of course, how it works underneath, which I said, if it's too technical, you don't have to worry about that. Just know the basics that it's just a network of independent people, I mean, taking records of transactions made on the network, and it's being distributed and transparent and immutable. Okay, in other words, records on the blockchain cannot be altered, it is immutable. And then 21 million, there can only be 21 million Bitcoins ever produced or ever issued. And as of currently, December 2021, there has been about 90 million Bitcoins already issued. And it will take till another 40 years for all the Bitcoins, all the 21 million Bitcoin to be finally issued. And of course, for each reward, of each reward, every 10 minutes, a new block is being mined on the Bitcoin network, and the reward for the miner gets for solving that block, for producing that block, it's currently is about 6.5 Bitcoins. So every 10 minutes, 6.5 Bitcoins is released into circulation. Okay. And then, of course, what else? It's a distributed ledger with timestamps, so transactions are transparent on the Bitcoin network. Everybody can participate freely as long as you have the hardware. You can also become a validator. In other words, you can become a miner on the Bitcoin hash, on the Bitcoin network without permission. Okay, it's an open network. Okay, unlike our current financial system that is closed. So, of course, the alias that produce Bitcoin white paper, it goes by Satoshi Nakamoto. We do not know if it is a male or female or a group of people, but we know it is he or she or they went by the alias Satoshi Nakamoto. So I think that's about it. And today's video, we're going to be comparing the fiat system, the current fiat system or fiat monetary system or fiat currency. When I say fiat, I mean your fiat currency, your naira, your dollar, your euros, your pounds against Bitcoin. Okay. And like I said, I've listed some of the issues or some of the problems with the fiat currencies, and on the left and then on the right, I've listed the solutions that the Bitcoin network brings to the table. So let's look at the first one: unlimited supply. Like I said, fiat currencies are printed at will. They are only printed, they don't have a cap, they are not capped, they are printed at will by central banks and governments. Of course, what causes government to print money? Most of the times, governments behaving responsibly, the spend beyond their budget, deficit, they call it deficit budget, and most of the time they get. So, like I said, most of the times your governments are irresponsible. They do what we call deficit budget. They spend beyond their means. Either at the end of the day, they spend on, they embark on projects or whatever that most of the times enriches the few of them in government or their cronies. And then or most of the times they print money so that they can go fight their unnecessary wars. You already know what I'm talking about. And anytime there's there's extra new money supply in circulation, it dilutes the purchasing power of what is already there, thereby causing inflation, which at the end of the day brings poverty. Poor people continues to pull poverty. People that are already living below poverty line keep getting poorer and poorer. So fiat currencies are unlimited supply. They have unlimited supply, which is why they are good, very bad store value. If you save in fiat currency, over time, you will just be losing your economic energy. See it as storing your money in a container that has a leakage, okay? A little leakage. So you're storing it there, and you're storing your water there, and maybe you put the water there by January, by December you check, and you can see the container is already like, you've lost half of the container, half of the water has leaked out, and you're shocked. So that's what fiat currency does to your economic energy. So, but on the Bitcoin, on the flip side, Bitcoin has 21 million. The supply of Bitcoin is 21 million, can never be beyond, no more, no less. And then, of course, this brings about scarcity. We talked about scarcity as one of the qualities of sound money. Okay, if you remember. And then, of course, scarcity, which at the end of the day, makes it a good store of value. Initially, or I can say in 2016, when I got my first Bitcoins, I bought them at, I think one Bitcoin then was trading for $350. Currently today, December 2021, one Bitcoin is over 48,000 US dollars. And I think it got to a high of 69,000 US dollars. So you can see why fiat currencies are inflationary. Bitcoin is deflationary. Okay, if you are working and then storing or saving in Bitcoin, you'll be much more wealthier than if you are saving in fiat. If you are saving in fiat, you would have lost some of that economic energy. So that is it with unlimited supply. Now for censorship, now like I said, when you have all your resources on fiat, you run bank accounts. The government of the day, fiat currencies are issued by government, central banks, backed up by government. So the government of the day, if they do not like your face, they could censor you, close your bank accounts, or restrict you from transacting. Those of us in Nigeria saw that firsthand. We've been hearing it in other countries, but we saw that firsthand. Even in the US, I think the accounts of WikiLeaks was also censored at some point. So the governments do that when they feel the heat. Any government, some of those governments you think are most democratic, when it comes, when the heat is really, when the kitchen is really hot, they could censor you out of the system. So, but with Bitcoin is open, non-censorship. You cannot censor anybody out of the Bitcoin network. Participation is open and free and permissionless, okay? You do not need permission to participate in the Bitcoin network. In the last video, I explained how the Bitcoin network is just a bunch of computers, people running nodes or people running computers all in different geographical locations in the world, okay? As long as your computer is on and you have the right hardware, you can participate. And as long as you own Bitcoins, nobody can block you from carrying out a Bitcoin transaction. Nobody can censor your transaction, or nobody can stop your transaction. So it's open, non-censorship. And I think, for me, the best forms of money should be the ones that allow us to express ourselves financially whenever, however. Okay. And number three, slow transactions. Now, if you experience dealing with the current financial systems, I mean, if you're trying to move money overseas, maybe pay for something, usually abroad, I think it takes about 7 days to make for the transaction to go, not to talk about the fees. But with Bitcoin, the transactions are very fast. Like I said, it takes about 10 minutes for a new block to be formed on the Bitcoin network. So we have very fast transactions, up to seconds to minutes. Like you could move large chunks, large amounts of money in minutes or in seconds with Bitcoin. There are even faster cryptocurrencies, but for now, we'll keep it at this. Then for bureaucracy, I think there's a whole lot. If you want to open a bank account, a whole lot of bureaucracy involved. You have to bring all documents, bring the birth certificate of your local chief, and so on and so forth. But with Bitcoin, and you do not need all that. Anybody can easily participate. It is permissionless. It is easy. The barriers to entry are very low. Okay, you can participate. Okay, then we'll come to high fees. Number 5. You see how remittance, those that send money from overseas to their countries, especially from the West down to Africa, they pay up to 8% as fees, minimum 8% at fees. Sometimes even more from all the Western Union, UBA MoneyGram, and then I think now there are some private money, I think fintech companies that do that, but they still charge fees, which are very high. But with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, the fees are very, very minimal. Sometimes even to move $1 million, you could pay less than $10 to move $1 million on the Bitcoin network. Yeah, that's how low the fees can get. Now, on Fiat is not private. Yeah, transactions on Fiat are not private. I mean, your bank has your records, and if the government want to see what you've been doing, it's easily available to them. Okay, but with cryptocurrencies, I think for Bitcoin, there's some level of privacy. This is not totally private, but at least there's some level of privacy. If I want to make a purchase without my name, I don't want my name on it. I could just send you, I could ask for your Bitcoin address and just send you some Bitcoins without you even knowing my name, my first name or my last name. But with the current financial system, it's not that way. Now, we also have number 7, non-ownership. Yeah, like the bank, the money in your bank account, as much as you smile when you see your credit alert, or when you look at the overview of your balance, it's not, that money is not actually yours because it's not in your custody. At any minute, at any point, the government of the day can decide to confiscate it, and there's nothing you can do. Okay, by law, they have the right. They issued it, so they can have it. And imagine you stored some of that economic energy in there. You just be left with nothing. But with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, once you own your Bitcoin, you take full custody of it. Okay, there are Bitcoin wallets where you can hold your Bitcoin. We have software wallets, we have hardware wallets. Whichever, it's in your custody. At least it is in your custody. No one can take it from you unless you decide to transfer. No one can take it from you. So I think these are some of the edge, where some of the different situations or edge where the Bitcoin comes on top of this fiat currencies. Now, Bitcoin is not perfect, okay, but that will be a whole different topic where we'll look at that. But it's much, much better than the current system we run, okay? So like I said, number 7 is full custody. Bitcoin allows you to take full custody of your money, okay? It's in your wallet, you authorize it, okay? You do not need, there are no third parties to give authorizations, okay? All right, so I think this is about it. I think we can come to the end of it here. At this point, I think I can end this here, and we'll move over. We'll move over to to next. Okay. Now talking about now talking about custody. Now you begin to wonder, how do you take custody of your Bitcoin? Now, or how do you get your Bitcoin? Now, I think maybe I should do that in another video.